Hi, I'm Aviva Goldfarb, and this is a 6 o'clock scramble quick cooking video. My mom is visiting, and I want to make something to impress her, but I don't have a lot of time because it's also carpool day. So I'm making one of my favorites, Mexican-style red snapper. Actually, in this case, it's Mexican-style grouper. And I love this recipe because it's only 4 ingredients. And I think it's going to take me 1 minute to make it. What I'm going to do, I have some stewed tomatoes, a can of Mexican recipe stewed tomatoes. I'm going to put them right in the bottom of this pan. And then I am going to take a 1/4 cup of capers. I think somebody who says that they can't cook, I think even they could do a recipe like this. I love capers because they are salty and a little bit sweet, and they give things so much flavor. A lot of people think they don't like capers, but I think that they're wrong. They actually do. They're a lot like olives. They just haven't had them in the right kind of dishes. But you could use chopped olives instead of capers. So I'm just gonna mix those in there. Very simple. I have about 2 pounds of a fish fillet here, but normally I would say 1 to 1.5 depending on how many you're serving, but I'm serving about 6 people tonight. Plop it right on top of those tomatoes. I'm gonna give my hands a rinse. Are you following me up here? I have my most trusted cameraman, Solomon, my son. So whenever I handle meat, I always wash my hands. And then the last step, I don't know if you can handle this. This is so difficult. You take 1 tablespoon of olive oil and you're gonna drizzle it over the fish. It is that easy. Then I'm gonna bake it at 325 degrees for about 30 minutes total until it's white and flaky, but in the middle, I'm going to take it out, and I'll show you when I do that. I'm going to take it out in the middle and just stir the tomatoes, put them over the fish a little bit, and put it back in, and that is it. I'm going to serve it with some Israeli couscous, which is really simple to make and kind of fancy, and some green beans with lemon and garlic, which I'll also show you later. Thanks for stopping by my kitchen. Hi, it's Aviva Goldfarb again from the 6 o'clock scramble with the next easy step in the Mexican-style baked red snapper or baked whitefish of whatever kind you like. The next thing I'm going to do, I've preheated the oven to 325 degrees. I've got the fish right here, and I am going to, and this is my dog Suerte. Suerte likes to be around in the kitchen. He thinks we're going to play tuggy. I am going to put that right in the middle of the oven, about middle height. Get it close, as close to the middle so there's even heat circulating. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes so then I can take it and stir some of the tomatoes over the fish. And then 15 more minutes and it should be perfectly done. I'll just make sure that it flakes easily at that point. Meanwhile, I am going to make my Israeli couscous. That's just a large grain couscous that I like to make. I'm going to toast it in a little bit of olive oil and just make a simple couscous side dish. And I'm going to make my lemon, garlic, green beans. So stay tuned for that. Okay, back in between commercial breaks, real quick, we're going to do, excuse me, I have a dog in the way of the oven. This is what always happens. That is why we call it the 6 o'clock scramble, because the dogs are barking or they want to eat and the kids need help with their homework, and here I am. So anyways, come in a little closer, cameraman, please. And now we have this fish, it's half baked. And we are going to take some of this yummy tomato and stewed tomato and caper sauce and just put some of it over the fish. There's no real science to it. It's almost like basting the turkey or something. Just plop some of that on there, and we'll plop that one on top too, and just to give it a little juiciness and a little more flavor. There, it's as simple as that. Now, going to return it to the oven for, I'm going to check it after 10 minutes. It might take as long as 15 minutes to make sure it's really flaky. Don't forget the hot gloves. In we go. And I always set the timer because we are too busy to remember something like that. The timer is essential. So we'll be back after the break with some finished fish, and meanwhile we'll make our side dishes. It's Aviva Goldfarb again with the 6 o'clock scramble. The fish is in the oven for the second half of its baking. So while that is happening, I had my kids set the table, and my couscous is cooking right over here. So everything's going to be ready at the same time. I timed it that way. And now I'm going to make my green beans. And what we do, first of all, I have trimmed the green beans just like this. And I find the easiest way to do it is with a kitchen scissors. Just trim off the ends like that, trim off the ends. These are a little, I got these are the end of the season green beans from the farmer's market. And I cut them in half, and here are my green beans, very easy. I've got a little bit of olive oil heating up over here. This is the green beans with lemon and garlic. I would normally do one big clove, but I didn't have one big clove. So I've got 2 little cloves in here. This is my Pampered Chef garlic press that I love. But if you don't have fresh garlic or you don't want to use it, you're in a big hurry, you can use this stuff. It's pre-chopped garlic. It works almost as well. I'm gonna squeeze that right in there. Take the dull side of the knife and scrape it off. And you don't want the garlic to burn. You don't want it to get too brown. So I'm gonna take a little spoon right here. I threw in my garlic in the olive oil on about medium heat. And as soon as it starts to get that really fragrant smell, that's when you know you're ready for the next step. It's starting to cook. But then if you let it go a little bit longer, it might start to get too brown, and then it tastes a little bitter. We don't want that, do we? And actually, green beans are my son Solomon's favorite vegetables. And when they were little, in order to get them, uh-oh, something's boiling over here. Woo! Gotta turn down the heat on the couscous. The excitement never ends at the 6 o'clock scramble. When my son was little, my husband used to get him to eat, and I'm just going to take this off for a minute, to eat his green beans by saying that he had to eat one for each finger, and then his fingers would be strong enough to push my husband Andrew over, which he would of course then do. So, think the couscous emergency is averted. Meanwhile, oh, I smell garlic. That means we must be ready to add the green beans. And I only have about a tablespoon, maybe even not that much. And I have about a pound of green beans. I'm gonna oh, it smells so good already. That garlic smell is just, makes the whole kitchen smell good. I'm gonna toss these all together until the green beans are coated with the garlic and the olive oil. And then I'm going to take my top and let's hope that I can actually find my top. I think this is the right one. And I'm going to cover it and steam them for about 6 to 8 minutes, depending on how tender you like them. So I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit while they're covered and steaming. And the last thing I have to do at the very end, I'm going to take about 1/4 of a lemon, squeeze it right in there, and we will have lemon, garlic, green beans, and it will be a delicious side dish. Everything's going to be ready on time. We're going to go right over to the table, and we'll see you at dinner. Welcome. We're enjoying the dinner that you saw how much work I put into it. And my mother.
We think it is wonderful. We are just so amazed. In fact, we want the recipe.
Ira and Celia and Andrew. We're all enjoying a nice family dinner that didn't really take that much work to create. Probably easier than going out to dinner or ordering a pizza. See you next time.